Hello, welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger. Today's date is March 12th, 2023. Before we go into today's topic, I want to do a quick announcement. This coming Saturday, which is March 18th, uh, the Johnny Tiger art pieces will be on display and for sale at the New Westminster Century House here in Vancouver, BC. So those of you that are local, uh, feel free to drop by, say hi, and check out some Tiger Tactile. If you want to see a sample of that, I have posted a few short videos in the past few days where you can see them, or you can find me on Instagram and Twitter using @JohnnyTiger1981 if you want to see more samples of the tactile art that I've been doing. There will be 4 to 6 pieces that will be on display and for purchase this coming Saturday. So I hope to see some of you there. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about domestic conflict resolution and mediation, uh, aka, to put it in the layman's term, if someone in your family is not getting along with someone else, if there's a fight going on, how do you mediate the problem? How do you go about getting involved? Well, let me first say this. The A lot of time, the best way to deal with it is not get involved. It's very hard to do. It took me a long time to learn this. When I was young, when I was in my 20s, first getting into psychology and sociology and all this stuff, I thought I was a guru of solving people's problems. So whenever people were fighting, arguing, not happy, I felt it's up to me to get in there and sort things out. And quite often that didn't work. Okay? Quite often that didn't work. So a lot of people find it really difficult. A lot of people find that it's almost a reflex to want to take side. Oh, your husband cheated on you, so he's a demon, he's a devil, he's a freaking monster, and he's wrong. And yeah, of course you're in the right. Or your wife said this, or how could she? She's wrong. Your mom did this, your dad did that. Oh wow, they're wrong. That's not good. People will take sides. People want to put themselves in one camp or another camp. But when you do that, rather than solving the problem, quite often in the end, all you do is adding gasoline to the fire. And the result can be very, very hard to predict. Let me use a very classic uh, Chinese example from a Chinese story for you guys to see how this can go down. Let's say a man and a woman live with the husband's family as they did in the old days. So one day, the daughter-in-law, aka the wife, and the mother-in-law got into a big argument, and they kept on arguing until the husband get involved, and the husband immediately go to the wife and say, "You should be ashamed of yourself talking to your mother-in-law that way. You know that's my mom, right? How dare you?" Now, the wife has already spent the entire day being yelled at by mother-in-law and having to control herself not to get violent, and now even the husband is not on her side. So in the middle of the night, finally the wife said enough is enough, and she hung herself. Okay, this is the first scenario. Second scenario, wife and mother-in-law get into a big fight, and then the husband go to the mom and say, "Hey, you should be ashamed of yourself. You talk to my wife that way. You live with us. You're old. We take care of you. We feed you. You don't have to do anything. Your daughter-in-law take care of you every day. You should be ashamed that you're giving her attitude." At night, the mom lay in bed thinking about all the humiliation and all the anger and the things that her son has said, is still angry, listening to her son and her daughter-in-law in the next room having fun with each other. Finally, the mom had enough of it and killed herself. Okay, so these are two extremes, right? These are two extremes, but just shows you how unpredictable the outcome can be, how unstable the situation can be if you decide to pick a side and think that you're going to solve the problem by getting involved in a domestic dispute or conflict. We all know that if you have a dog and a cat at home, heck, sometimes if you have two cats, like in my case, I have Tiger and Aslan. Tiger and Aslan fight every day. Okay, they literally do fight every day, multiple times a day sometimes. And I have people that ask me, how come you don't do anything about it? Why don't you get involved? My answer is because you can't be here all the time. There's no point you getting involved. They need to sort this out themselves. So as long as they are not drawing blood, as long as no one's going to the hospital, let them do it. Let them sort it out because eventually they will learn. Okay, if I do this, the other cat is going to attack me, so maybe I shouldn't do this. Or if I do this, we're going to fight, and I can't beat him in a fight, so I shouldn't do this. So eventually, they are going to figure out their boundaries. Eventually, they are going to figure out uh, how not to get into a fight. Domestic disputes are like that. Okay, so as long as there's no hitting, there's no police involved, there's no hospital, a lot of time, yes, even when furniture is getting broken, even when people throw things, but as long as no one's getting hurt, as long as no one's going to hospital or jail, it's best to just leave it alone. Uh, a lot of time, things are nowhere as serious as you think it is, or you may want to think it is. Because honestly, a lot of people, mediators, people who want to get involved, in their mind, they make the situation seem very serious. Oh my God, he's throwing things. He's going to start hitting her, and then he's going to murder her, and then no, okay. A lot of time it's not that bad. It's not as bad as you're not the superhero. Stop trying to put yourself into that role. A lot of people think that things are going to get so bad if they don't get involved and the world's going to end, people are going to get hurt, so they need to jump in there and be the hero. They need to jump in there and comfort the crying woman and make themselves feel very heroic. Did you know that crying woman may be crying because she previously started the fight first and she just crying because she need to get it out of her system. She's not crying because she's wronged in any way. She's crying because she's frustrated. Okay, so this is like a really rambly way to say a lot of time the best thing to do is don't get involved. Don't get involved. Now, let's say you decided you don't want to get involved, but the situation come to you regardless. Like, okay, your family members are fighting, and then you're just sitting on the side. No, 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 no. Okay, okay. Oh, there goes the plate. Oh, there goes the chair. But that's okay. No one's getting hurt, and you're not getting involved. But then suddenly someone comes to you. Well, what do you think? I'm right, right? Isn't he being an asshole? Well, let's okay. So now the situation is in your face, okay? Or sometimes someone is uh, crying, their feelings are hurt, and they come to you and ask how come you don't do anything about it. Okay, now how are you going to go about dealing with this? Remember, don't take side. Okay, the conflict resolution. Number one, don't get involved. Number two, if you get involved, don't take side. Okay, your job, if you do get involved, is to try to smooth both sides over, not just go with one side. If you just take one side, then you're going to end up with the very unpredictable outcome like we described in the story in the beginning there. Okay, so and how to not take side? Well, you got to do this tactfully. You got to be very tactical about this. Okay, this is now turning into a uh, tactical situation. You got to be smart about it. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to get not going to get involved. You guys go find it out," and then it's not my problem. You guys sort it out yourself. I mean, you can do that, but when quite often when you start doing that, both of them is going to direct their anger right in your direction. Because now you just provided them with a very easy scapegoat, which is yourself. Okay. Um, so one way of uh, dealing with the situation is trying to make light of the situation by saying something that is going to divert the situation to something else. Uh, like, well, okay, uh, for example, when I'm in a car with some friends, and then my friends start arguing, and the argument getting really, really heated, and then suddenly so they turn around, Johnny, isn't what she said stupid? Uh, I'm not going to agree or disagree in this case, right? In this case, I'm going to say, well, it's actually a very complicated matter, so it's not that simple, but uh, before we sort this out, can we decide where we want to go for dinner? Like I heard of this steakhouse that is really good. You guys want to go? My treat. Okay, so right away I'm taking this matter into my own hand and turning the subject to something else. Are we hungry? Shall we go get something to eat? I'm not saying that we end the argument. I'm saying we can argue about this later. Because later, when everyone's got food in their tummy and things are calmed down somewhat, they'll feel a lot better about it. And if they want to continue to argue, the argument will be a little bit more productive. Right? Uh, and another way that I sort out conflict in this fashion is if there's an argument between friends or family about some subject matter, and they want me to get involved, and I'll say, well, you know what? Uh, why don't we wait until we go home and we'll check on the computer, we'll Google this. You can say you're right, she can say she's right, but let's Google this. Let Google decide, why don't we? Yes, but let's wait until we get home, right? Or sometimes, if we're in public, I'll even uh, divert the attention by getting some third party involved and make the entire situation really, really funny and embarrassing. For example, my friends are getting into an argument and they try to get me involved, and I'm going to, instead of answering them, I'm going to call the waitress over and I say, hey, these two assholes are having this most ridiculous argument about this thing. Do you know anything about this? Do you know anything about who's the best boxer in the world? Um, like, can you tell them? Like, I'll trust your judgment way more than I trust either of them. So I'll leave that to you. So there are a lot of ways, uh, but the key is don't take side. If you want to laugh, laugh at both of them. If you want to speak nicely to both of them. If you want to make them see reason, make both of them see reason. Right? Don't take side. That is very, very important. Another little trick to sort out domestic uh, conflict. And this one is honestly my mom was the one that taught me that because my mom is like the master of that. Uh, is to go behind each person and try to build up some good karma for both sides. What do I mean by that? let's say uh, let's say my sister and my mom get into an argument, right? And they are not talking to each other. The feelings are being hurt on both sides. I'm going to go out of my way and I'm going to say, hey sis, you want to go out for some coffee? I'm not going to mention the situation between her and my mom, but I'm going to take her out for coffee, take her out for dinner, and let her get things off her chest. And we are going to talk about other stuff, things that make her happy. And then when I'm with my mom, I'm going to say, hey, like uh, sis and I went to this place the other day, and she said she think you would really love this place. She, I think you two are so similar in many ways. I would like to take you there because it's a nice place. Um, and then when I'm paying, uh, when I'm paying for food for my sister, I would say, "Oh, it's okay. I'll pay for it today. Gave me, Mom knew that I was going to come out with you, and she gave me extra money so I could get dinner for both of us." And then when I take my mom out, I'm going to say, "Yeah, here, let me treat you to dinner because actually, sis knew that I was going to take you out today, and she gave me some money. She's you know how stubborn she is. She doesn't want to apologize to you, but she want to me to treat you to dinner. So she actually gave me some money for that. Yeah, yeah. You two are just so weird. Uh, so I'm going to go around each one of them back and just build up good feeling, build up some good karma on both sides until they have this idea that, you know, uh, they remember how much they love each other. Um, like I said, my mom was a master of that. Whenever I had a dispute with my dad, or any of us had dispute with someone else, my mom was always going behind us, wiping our butts, cleaning up our messes, and soothe down hurt feelings and stuff like that. She was the master of uh, damage control. Even now, living with my father, who is a consummated troublemaker, my mom is constantly just one step behind him. As soon as he offends somebody, my mom is right there, smoothing things over and making the person feel that it's not that big of a deal, and all that. So again, whenever there's a domestic conflict, domestic dispute, whether it be family, friend, spouse, whatever, if you can get away with not getting involved, don't get involved. Okay, because when you get involved, all you do in the end is introducing a very unstable external element to an already sensitive situation, and outcome can be very, very unpredictable. This is why police officers hate responding to domestic abuse, dispute calls, because you never know what's going to happen when you show up. Okay, so if you can stay away from the situation, don't get involved, let them sort things out themselves. But if you want to get involved, remember, be equal. Treat them equally. Don't down talk either side. And when you can, try to build up some good feeling, good karma for both sides. Okay? Hopefully, you guys benefit a little bit from this very rather rambly Soul Search Sunday. I didn't really have a lot of time to think about this episode before I start the camera. So hopefully it was comprehensible, and I'll be back again tomorrow for some Music Monday. For now, have a good night.